Lisa is sitting in the school parking lot in her CRV. It's 4:22 on a Wednesday. The kids are still inside. She's got about 7 minutes before pickup, and she's using them to stare at her phone, scrolling through a Reddit thread titled, "Am I an idiot for maxing my RRSP for the last 8 years?" The top comment is 847 words long. There's a flowchart. Someone replied with a 12-paragraph counter-argument. 3 people are fighting about marginal tax rates. One person just wrote TFSA always and got 400 upvotes. Someone else replied no, RRSP always, and got 300 upvotes. Lisa closes Reddit, stares out the windshield. She has been putting $500 a month into her RRSP since she was 27. She gets a tax refund every February, usually around $2,400. She puts that refund back into the RRSP. She felt good about this. Her dad told her to do it. Her bank's advisor told her to do it. She has never questioned it. But now she's wondering, did she get this wrong? If you've ever felt that flicker of doubt, wait, am I using these accounts in the right order? This video is for you, because here's what most people never figure out. The RRSP versus TFSA debate doesn't have one right answer. It has one right framework. And once you understand it, really understand it, you'll never be confused again. I'm Boring Money Canada, not a financial advisor, just math. Subscribe if you want the honest version. Let's do this. Let's start with the lie. The lie is this. Maximize your RRSP contributions first. It lowers your taxes. You've heard this. Your parents said it. Your bank's advisor said it. Every February, when the RRSP season ads start running, every financial institution in Canada basically screams it at you. And it's not wrong exactly, but it's incomplete. And incomplete advice, applied without context, can quietly cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Here's the thing the ads never say. An RRSP doesn't eliminate your taxes. It defers them. When you put money into an RRSP, you get a tax deduction today. The government gives you back a slice of what you contributed based on your marginal tax rate. That feels like free money. It's not. It's a loan. Every dollar in that RRSP will eventually be withdrawn in retirement. And when you withdraw it, every single dollar, it counts as income, regular, taxable income. The same as your paycheck, the same as a pension. It goes on your tax return. You pay your marginal rate on it. The RRSP is a deal. Pay taxes later instead of now. The TFSA is a different deal. Pay taxes now on income you've already earned and never pay taxes on that money again. The growth is yours. The withdrawals are yours. The government gets nothing. Neither account is always better. The right answer depends on one thing. Are you in a higher tax bracket now, or will you be in a higher bracket when you retire? That's it. That's the whole framework. If you earn more now than you'll spend in retirement, RRSP likely wins. If you earn less now, or you'll have a lot of retirement income from pensions and CPP and other sources, TFSA often wins. Most people don't know this distinction. Most people just do what they were told. Let's actually run the numbers. Lisa is 36. She earns $78,000 a year in Edmonton. She puts $500 a month and $6,000 a year into her investments. She wants to retire at 65. That's 29 years of contributions. At a 7% average annual return, the long-run real return on a diversified index portfolio, adjusted for historical norms, $6,000 a year for 29 years, becomes approximately $578,000. So she has $578,000 in an investment account at retirement. Great. Now, how much of that is actually hers? If it's in a TFSA, all of it. $578,000. She withdraws it. Zero tax. Done. If it's in an RRSP, it depends. Let's say Lisa retires with modest income. CPP gives her around $800 a month, $9,600 a year. OAS adds about $8,700 a year at 65. She withdraws $30,000 a year from her RRSP to live on. Her total retirement income, roughly $48,300 a year. At that income level in Alberta, her marginal tax rate is around 30%. So of every $30,000 she pulls from the RRSP, she keeps about $21,000. Now here's where it gets interesting. When she was working at $78,000 a year, her marginal rate on those RRSP contributions was around 36%. She got back $0.36 on every dollar she put in. That was the free money the RRSP ads promised. She contributed $6,000 a year and got a refund of roughly $2,160 back. Good. But in retirement, she's withdrawing at 30%. So the government gets $1.30 per dollar she pulls out. She deferred tax at 36%, and she'll pay it at 30%. The RRSP wins by about 6 percentage points, roughly $34,000, over the course of her retirement withdrawals. That's a real win. For Lisa, in this scenario, the RRSP was the right call. But here's what changes everything. Most financial content tells you RRSP is good if your tax rate is higher now than in retirement. Then they stop. They don't show you the 3 things that can flip this completely. The first one is the RRSP refund trap. Lisa gets back $2,160 every February. What does she do with it? If she spends it on the vacation, the appliance upgrade, the I deserve this moment, the RRSP math still works, but she's leaving serious gains behind. The correct play is to reinvest that refund into the TFSA. This is called the RRSP TFSA loop, and it's the most powerful thing you can do with these 2 accounts together. Here's the math. Lisa contributes $6,000 to her RRSP. She gets $2,160 back. She puts that $2,160 into her TFSA. She does this for 29 years. The RRSP grows to $578,000. The TFSA grows to approximately $209,000 just from reinvesting the annual refund. At retirement, she has over $787,000 in total. The RRSP withdrawals are taxed, but the $209,000 TFSA balance is completely tax-free. She gets the best of both accounts. Most people who use the RRSP never think about the refund as a tool. They think of it as a bonus. It's not. It's the second leg of the strategy. Here's the thing nobody in the February RRSP ads ever mentions. The RRSP works beautifully if your retirement income is modest, CPP, OAS, and a reasonable annual RRSP withdrawal. But if you also have a workplace pension or rental income, or a partner still earning, or you've done very well and saved a lot, your retirement income can creep above $90,000 a year. If it does, something quietly terrible happens. It's called the OAS clawback, and it's one of the meanest provisions in the Canadian tax code. Old age security, the flat government benefit every Canadian gets at 65, gets clawed back at 15 cents on every dollar of net income above roughly $90,000. If your income is high enough, you lose the entire benefit. For 2024, you lose all of OAS by around $148,000 in income. OAS pays about $8,700 a year. So if your RRSP withdrawals push you above that threshold, you don't just pay more income tax, you also lose up to $8,700 in benefits every year. This matters more than people realize. A large RRSP that forces you to withdraw $50,000 or $60,000 a year in retirement can interact very badly with OAS if you have other income sources. The TFSA has zero interaction with OAS. TFSA withdrawals don't count as income. They don't affect your clawback. They don't affect means-tested benefits like the Guaranteed Income Supplement. They're invisible to the tax system. This is why higher earners, and especially people with DB pensions, often find the TFSA is strategically superior, even though the RRSP deduction looks more attractive up front. Here's the second thing nobody tells you. What happens if you need the money before retirement? With a TFSA, you withdraw it, you pay zero tax, Your contribution room comes back on January 1st the following year. You can recontribute later. It's completely flexible. With an RRSP, you withdraw it, you pay withholding tax immediately, 10% on amounts under $5,000, 20% on $5,000 to $15,000, 30% on anything above. You also report the withdrawal as income in that tax year, which means you might owe more at tax time if it pushes you into a higher bracket. And here's the part that really stings. You permanently lose that RRSP contribution room. It doesn't come back. So if you put $50,000 into your RRSP over 10 years, then have a rough year and pull out $20,000. You pay the withholding tax, you report it as income, and you have permanently lost $20,000 of RRSP room for life. This is why the RRSP is best treated as truly long-term, locked-away capital. It works beautifully for disciplined, stable savers who won't need to touch it. It punishes anyone who has to dip into it early. If you're not sure your finances are stable enough to lock that money away until 65, the TFSA is a safer default. You can always build the RRSP later when you're more established. Let's run 3 versions of Lisa's life to make this concrete. Version 1. Lisa, the RRSP contributor. Lisa puts $500 a month into her RRSP for 29 years. She ignores the refund, spends it each year. At retirement, she has $578,000 in the RRSP. She withdraws $30,000 a year, pays roughly 30% in tax. Over a 25-year retirement, she nets about $525,000 after tax. That's a good outcome. Version 2. Lisa, the TFSA contributor. Same $500 a month, same 29 years, same return, $578,000 in the TFSA. She withdraws $30,000 a year, zero tax. Over 25 years, she keeps the full $578,000 plus growth. She also doesn't reduce her OAS, her GIS eligibility, or any income-tested benefit she might qualify for. If Lisa's retirement income is low, the TFSA wins here because she would have been in the same tax bracket anyway, and she keeps more money. Version 3. Lisa running the loop. $500 a month to the RRSP. $180 a month of the refund reinvested into the TFSA, $2,160 year, 29 years, 7% return. RRSP balance, $578,000. TFSA balance, $209,000. Total, $787,000. She withdraws from the TFSA first to keep her income in retirement below the OAS threshold. She uses the RRSP as a secondary account, withdrawing strategically in lower income years up to the bracket boundary. Her total after-tax retirement wealth is the highest of the 3 scenarios by a significant margin. Version 3 is the answer. It's also the one nobody in a bank's February ad ever explains. Let's handle the objections. But I heard the RRSP is always better if you're in a high tax bracket. Almost. The RRSP is better if your tax rate now is meaningfully higher than it will be in retirement. If they're similar, or if you have a pension that will maintain high income in retirement, the advantage shrinks or reverses. Tax rates are the whole game. What if I'm in a low-income year right now? Should I still use my RRSP? No. This is one of the most common RRSP mistakes. If you're earning $45,000 this year, a lower bracket, contributing to your RRSP means you're getting a deduction at a low rate, and you'll likely withdraw at a similar or higher rate in retirement. That's actually backwards. In low-income years, max the TFSA instead, and save your RRSP room for years when your income is higher and the deduction is worth more. I've already been doing it the wrong way for years. Is it too late to fix? No. The contribution room in both accounts accumulates and carries forward. If you have unused TFSA room, and if you've been eligible since the TFSA launched in 2009, you might have up to $95,000 in cumulative room by now. You can start using it more aggressively today. You can't undo past RRSP contributions, but you can absolutely optimize your strategy going forward. Future, you will thank you. What about FHSA? If you're a first-time home buyer, or your partner is, The first home savings account is a serious third option worth knowing about. It combines RRSP-style deductions with TFSA-style tax-free withdrawals, specifically for buying your first home. If that's relevant to you, it's worth exploring. It's one of the most favorable accounts the government has ever created, but that's a whole separate video. My bank advisor has been telling me to max the RRSP every year. Are they wrong? They're not wrong, Ellen. They're incomplete. An advisor who says max your RRSP isn't giving you bad advice. They're giving you generic advice, which looks the same for every client. The right answer for you specifically depends on your income, your expected retirement income, your pension situation, and whether you might need the money early. A fee-only financial planner can look at all of that and build a real plan. The hourly fee is usually worth it. I want to be honest about what I don't know about your situation. The RRSP TFSA framework I've laid out is real and well supported by the math. But personal finance is personal. Your marginal tax rate depends on your province, your income, your deductions, and things that will change over time. Your retirement income depends on career trajectory, pension entitlements, health, whether you'll work part-time, your partner's situation, all things that shift. The 7% return figure is a long-run historical average, not a guarantee. Real returns vary. Inflation erodes purchasing power. Sequence of returns, the order in which your good and bad years happen, matters a lot near retirement. What I can give you is the framework. What I can't do is look at your tax return and your pension statement and your life goals and build the actual plan. A fee-only financial planner can, not the advisor at your bank who earns commission on product sales. A fee-only planner who charges by the hour and doesn't profit from what you invest in. One good session with the right person can clarify this completely. Also, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is math. Please treat it as education, not instruction. Here's the thing about Lisa in that parking lot. She's not an idiot. She wasn't irresponsible. She took the advice she was given from people she trusted, and she acted on it consistently for 8 years. That's more than most people do. What she was missing wasn't discipline. It wasn't willpower. It was the actual explanation of how these two accounts work together. An explanation that most financial institutions have zero incentive to give her because the products they sell perform fine regardless. If you've been contributing to an RRSP for years without understanding why, you haven't made a mistake. You've been saving money. That money is growing. That's good. What changes today is you now have the framework. You know the question to ask. Will my tax rate be higher now or in retirement? You know the play. RRSP for higher income years, TFSA as your flexible safety valve, and reinvest the refund if you can. You know the traps, the OAS clawback, the early withdrawal penalty, the low-income contribution mistake. You didn't get this wrong because you weren't paying attention. You got an incomplete answer from people who were selling something. Now you have the full picture. The boring one wins. The patient one wins. The one who understands the accounts, not just uses them on autopilot, wins. That's you now. I'm Boring Money Canada. Subscribe for the honest version of this stuff every week. Share this with someone still in the dark, and I'll see you in the next one.